Pace in the Hindi belt. After dilly-dallying considerably, the Samajwadi Party and the Congress have announced a Gathbandhan for Uttar Pradesh. The Congress will contest from 17 seats, leaving the rest for the Samajwadi Party. The alliance brings Rahul and Akhilesh back together for the first time after the 2017 assembly elections, where the self-proclaimed UP ke ladke withered significantly in the face of a BJP onslaught. But this time, Akhilesh Yadav has said that they mean business and that their Gathbandhan will defeat Modi. Listen in.
इस समय में उत्तर प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सफाया होगा। अंत भला तो सब भला।
क्या समझे? तो क्या माना जाए?
आप समझदार हो?
सर गठबंधन होगा,
शीट शेयरिंग को लेकर
होगा।
विवाद छिड़ा हुआ है।
कोई विवाद नहीं है। आपके सामने सब चीजें साफ हो जाएंगी बहुत जल्दी।
Moments after he made that proclamation, viewers, the Gathbandhan was announced. And it appears that Akhilesh's confidence must be lauded, because the math certainly isn't adding up. In 2017, when on paper the Congress and the Samajwadi alliance looked formidable, the two leaders could only galvanize 28% of the vote. Let's put those numbers up, in fact. 28% of the vote, viewers, between the two of them. The BJP was almost a dozen percentage points. You can see the difference, 28 and 39.67. The BJP was almost a dozen percentage points ahead of their rivals. Had the BSP perhaps not undercut the vote, the two would have stood a chance. The contest would have been closer. But just like then, the BSP is once again not part of the Gathbandhan, which means that the going is perhaps as tough in 2024 than it was in 2017. Yes, viewers, now let's have a look at 2017. In 2017, the Samajwadi Party and the Congress, viewers, there you can see it on your screens, won that share, that 28% share. What is interesting, viewers, is that the BJP at that time, contesting without a face in Uttar Pradesh, picked up 312 seats, beginning really their period of domination. Such has been the dominance of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh under Modi, that even when the BSP and the Samajwadi Party came together in what was touted to be the mother of all Gathbandhans, and once again I'll put those numbers on your screens, viewers, even then, in the face of the mother of all Gathbandhans, the BJP decimated the combined. There it was, viewers. It can't get, at least arithmetically, more emphatic. Samajwadi Party, BSP and RLD, they only ended up with 15 seats in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Compare that to the BJP and Apna Dal, Sonelal. That was the faction. 51.19% viewers. Huge gap. 11%. And you can also see the gap in the seats. The Congress retaining only one, and that was Sonia Gandhi's seat. True, the Congress was not part of the alliance. But even if the Congress party's votes were to be added to the Samajwadi Party's votes and the BSP's vote, the BJP would have been comfortably ahead, though it might have lost a few more seats. The number may not have been 64, it might have been 60 at the most, viewers. Viewers, this number tells you that even now it's going to be tough. Interestingly, viewers, in the 2019 elections, the Kurmi and Koiri and other OBCs voted in eye-popping numbers for the BJP. In fact, a Lok Niti CSDS poll survey confirms that in 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the non-Yadav castes polled between 80% and 72% in favor of the BJP. Moreover, while the Jatavs voted overwhelmingly for the Gathbandhan because of the BSP, the other SCs did not. Their votes were split quite evenly between the BJP and the Gathbandhan. This is perhaps the reason why the India Bloc, led by Rahul Gandhi, has been pushing for a caste survey to give ECBs, in his words, their haq according to their purported abadi. But will playing the EBC card aggressively work this time, viewers? Will the Congress addition to the SP and its allies turn the tide? If we are to go by the 2022 assembly numbers, the BJP may still be ahead. Look at those numbers once again, viewers, on your screens. The SP, the RLD, the SB, SP and the Apna Dal all polled together 36% votes. The BJP, the Apna Dal, Sonelal Patel and Nishad Party, these three polled 43% of the vote, viewers. The gap increasing, though the seats coming down effectively for the BJP. It isn't just in Uttar Pradesh but also in Delhi, where the India Bloc seems to be closing in on some sort of a seat-sharing deal. The Congress might just settle for contesting on 3 out of 7 seats in Delhi. If Kejriwal and the Gandhis can reach an agreement, expect tight contests in at least 3 of the 7 seats. And once again, viewers, turn to your screens for the numbers. Remember, the BJP won all 7 Lok Sabha seats in Delhi in 2019. That's how it looked like. The Congress and AAP, even together, was still about 16% behind the BJP. In the 2020 assembly polls that followed, the Congress and AAP had a combined tally of 62 seats, with Congress winning, viewers, 0. But their vote taken together is 57%. The BJP had just about 38.5% of the vote. With the India Bloc's RJD and Congress alliance intact in Bihar and possible agreements with the SP in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, a common India Bloc candidate could narrow the gap between the alliance and the BJP across the 246 Lok Sabha seats in the Hindi belt. At least arithmetically, viewers. It has happened. Against the Congress in 1977, no one thought that the Congress would in any way be dislodged, but it was. Yet, the BJP isn't worried, viewers, possibly because the Prime Minister is on the ticket, and that means the BJP tees off with a 10 to about 15% advantage. BJP supporters may also point to what the Prime Minister said sarcastically in Parliament a few days ago. Modi said voters are unlikely to place their faith in repackaged failed products that have been relaunched many a times without success. Has Modi read the voters' mind correctly? Or, viewers, is a surprise in store? Let's open this up. Let's ask some fundamental questions. Let me first begin with BJP National Spokesperson Sanju Verma. We also have with us Ghanshyam Tiwari of the Samajwadi Party. Sanju Verma, very quickly, I want to ask you fundamentally a straightforward question. These formidable forces are coming together and you brush them off as if they are a footnote. Is this overconfidence on your part? I think you're on mute, ma'am.
Am I?
Yes, now we can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Audible.
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was actually appreciative of the fact that you do have a good sense of humor. Is the BJP being overconfident? Certainly not. And I'll tell you why. You gave out some data, and I always believe that data trumps rhetoric. Very quickly, without being verbose. In 2022 UP Assembly polls, the BJP actually had a vote share of 41.29%. And Samajwadi Party, mind you, increased its vote share by 10.24% to 32.06%. Despite that, the tally of Samajwadi Party fell from 47 seats to 5 seats. And more interestingly, the Congress actually saw a 6% rise in vote share to 12.31%, and yet compared to 2017 when the Congress had won 7 seats, in 2022 the Congress tally was a lowly and miserable 2 seats. And then look at the BSP. It perhaps had its worst performance since 1995. It increased its vote share in 2022 by 9.35% to 12.88%, but it managed to get only 1 seat. So the limited point I'm making is first this. BJP on the one side with 41.29% vote share in 2022 assembly polls. If you look at Uttar Pradesh Lok Sabha 2019, even then the BJP is far ahead at 49.98%, almost a 50% vote share. So basically the first point is BJP is higher than Samajwadi Party and BSP and the erstwhile RLD, which was in the Samajwadi Party camp, and the Congress put together. Point number two, which I always say, that be it the Congress or the Samajwadi Party, they are pretty good when it comes to garnering vote share. But when it comes to translating vote share into winnable seats, that is where the opposition fails. That is precisely the reason, despite a 10.24% rise in vote share in 2022 assembly polls for the Samajwadi Party vis-a-vis 2017, they were reined in at 111. Ideally, with a 32% vote share, I would have assumed that they will at least cross the 150 mark, which they failed to do. And mind you, despite being at just 41.29% vote share, BJP managed to get 255 seats. This was the first time in 37 years, Rahul, that a sitting Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, the sitting incumbent ruling party, the BJP in this case, stormed back to power when every political pundit was saying, चाहे दुनिया इधर की उधर हो जाए, योगी आदित्यनाथ और बीजेपी की डबल इंजन सरकार दोबारा उत्तर प्रदेश में सत्ता में नहीं आएगी. We proved all those pop political pundits wrong. And last but not the least, very quickly, I always tell you, Rahul, that the devil is in the details. And I found this something very interesting. Yes, there seems to be newfound bonhomie after the initial fractious display of emotions between Samajwadi Party and the Congress. But did you notice that the Congress wanted three very important seats from the Samajwadi Party? One was Moradabad, one was Bijnor, one was Balia. And what have they got currently in terms of the key seats? They've got Kanpur Nagar, Fatehpur Sikri, Basgaon, Saharanpur, Prayagraj, Maharajganj, Amroha, Jhansi, Bulandshahr, Ghaziabad, Mathura, Sitapur, Barabanki, Deoria and Varanasi. I don't see Bijnor in that list being given to Congress. I don't see Congress's demand of wanting Moradabad being fulfilled. I don't see Congress's demand of wanting Balia being fulfilled. So the three key states which the Congress wanted to fight on, the Samajwadi Party has categorically denied them, saying we are the big brother and you better listen to us and comply with what we are willing to give.
Well, that's between them. But let me bring in Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari. Good to be speaking to you, Mr. Tiwari. Regional parties that almost always stand up to the BJP in the south, in the east, and to some extent even in the west, in Maharashtra, have collapsed against the BJP in the Hindi belt, specifically talking about 4 states. Now, this suggests that the pattern, or the problem rather, is really with the leadership in the Hindi belt of these regional parties, perhaps in their message or the credibility of their image. Would you agree?
Good evening, Rahul, to you, the viewers and fellow co-panelists. Let me start by paying tribute to the young farmer who was ruthlessly, as the farm protesters are getting attacked, who died due to head injuries. And this blame lies on the hands of the General Dyer regime that BJP has put on India. Last time 700 farmers died, BJP didn't flinch a muscle. One young farmer died today. It's a sad thing in India that farmers are being fired. BJP, as Sanju Verma ji elegantly put, is so powerful that it can choose to be ruthless against farmers. It is so powerful that in Uttar Pradesh, it could be ruthless against daughters and make Braj Bhushan Singh a candidate. It is so confident about its own strength that it will take away allies from Bihar by backstabbing a running government, or can disrupt another Hindi heartland state, Jharkhand, and dislodge a chief minister. So this display of power in a state like Uttar Pradesh will not hold, especially when you cannot even conduct an exam that 48 lakh students take, standing in front of a railway station in midnight. Everybody would have seen the visuals, 48 lakh students, and the paper leaks. So this is the strength of power. You spoke about Hindi heartlands and failure of regional parties. Let's start. In Uttar Pradesh election in 2022, SP alone by itself got around 3 crore votes. BJP with thousands of crores. By the way, the party of electoral bonds collecting 5,200 crores in electoral bonds, 10,122 crores in donations in just 2016 to 2022, offering 14,56,226 crores in NPA write-offs, has no shortage of funds. So with all this power, they could get 3 crore 80 lakh votes. In the coming election, you will see that the message that BJP has to offer to people is a hollow message, whereas this alliance, India Alliance, has a strong message. That message relates to jobs, relates to Beti Bachao being a threat by BJP rather than a slogan. And my final point, you have eminent spokespersons here and analysts, and you yourself cover politics. Can anyone here say how many parties are there in alliance with BJP today? This is not an NDA anymore. It is NSA, Narendra Surrender Alliance. It is Narendra Modi, and those who surrender to Narendra Modi are part of alliance. And everyone here, day in, day out, has been discussing the India Alliance. I openly challenge Anand, Sanju Verma to tell the total number of parties that are there in this Narendra Surrender Alliance. And that will tell you the reality of this alliance.
Okay, just one point I wanted to make, viewers. Yes, Ghanshyam Tiwari is talking about how farmers have been ill-treated, etc. Though he forgets that if that is indeed the case, the RLD, which is the ultimate representative of farmer interests in the I.N.D.I.A Bloc, actually left the alliance, saying that the Samajwadi Party and the Congress, not my words, the young leaders' words, didn't respect the farmers, and therefore we quit. So there is that fact. We can come back to that point, Mr. Tiwari, in just a few moments. Sanju Verma, quick response to Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, and then I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan also.
You know, whether you call NDA, NSA or what have you, I will not go down that path, although I'm tempted to call Samajwadi Party as Sab Kuch Khatam Ho Gaya Party. But be that as it may, have you noticed, Rahul, I have done a zillion debates on a zillion channels, including yours. Each time, you know, we start discussing the alliance. They will never say what is their common minimum program. They will never say what is their common political agenda. They will never mention even the 5 things that they want to do for the benefit of farmers, women, youth. But what they will do, they will malign Narendra Modi just 20 seconds because he made some reckless allegations. Ghanshyam Tiwari, and more importantly, Rahul Shiv Shankar's audience needs to know, more than 2.8 lakh crore via PM Kisan Yojana has been given directly to 11 crore farmers, point number 1. More than 18 lakh crore, which is more than 7% of India's GDP, has been procured only with respect to wheat and paddy in the last 9.5 years. During the Congress, the procurement of wheat and paddy was less than 3 lakh crore. Point number 3, more than 35 crore insurance applications have been processed under PM Fasal Bima Yojana, where the insurance premium that has to be paid by a farmer is barely 1.5%. And last but not the least, if politics is about perception, if politics is about sending a message, I think by giving the Bharat Ratna to Chaudhry Charan Singh, the grandfather of Jayant Chaudhary, the BJP has sent out a strong message. We stand with farmers, but we don't stand with Andolan Jeevis who want to create reckless lawlessness in India's national capital. Let's not forget what happened 2.5 years back near the Red Fort. And if you endorse Andolan Jeevis, shame on you. You're not standing with farmers, you're standing with career Andolan Jeevis. And that is not the politics that BJP decides to play with. We are with farmers, but not with career Andolan Jeevis.
Viewers, a quick point of fact. In the Hindi heartland, one second, Sanju Verma, in the Hindi heartland, we've just had a series of elections, 3 of them, in 3 states. And we know that the so-called India Bloc or the Congress and the Samajwadi Party and some other constituents didn't fare very well, despite the same rhetoric, the same argument. So obviously there is a gap here. Now, what is that due to? I'll try to bring in Mr. Sanjay Jha in just a few moments, but Dr. Ranganathan, yes.
Good evening, Rahul. I think I would like to 4 points here. Number 1, you know, when my good friend Ghanshyam ji is talking about and using the word alliance, I'm not going to sound patronizing, but alliance means that there is a confluence of your views, your ethical and moral principles, your friendliness, and that is how you move forward. So you had the allies in the World War or in allies in any other field, they think alike. Now I want to ask, what kind of alliance is this when you've just heard that the Congress, the chief in West Bengal, has called Mamata, what did she say, the queen of cruelty, and the harbinger of the death of democracy. That's the alliance in Bengal. In UP, Congress has accused Samajwadi Party of having let loose a mafia raj. In Kerala, they are accusing Pinarayi Vijayan of a 100 crore scam. In Tamil Nadu, they accuse DMK of kowtowing to terrorists by felicitating the killer of Rajiv Gandhi. And we know the equation of Aam Aadmi Party with Congress in Punjab as well as in Delhi. So please, if we are calling it alliance, then we need to revisit what the word alliance means. Now let me come to your excellent analysis that you showed in the primer. Now, of course, it would be disastrous for the BJP if it were to sound overconfident. But let me actually go a little bit deeper into your wonderful analysis, Rahul, because, and I've been crunching these numbers as well, they're very revealing for two reasons. Number one, UP is the state that has the second lowest GDP per capita. I think it's about $952 behind, above only Bihar, which is $700. Comparatively, Delhi is $6,000. Now, when you have states that are relatively lower, in this case, second lowest amongst all states, then the fact is the elections in the previous state as well as the center elections have shown that there is a complete confluence and fusion between how people vote as far as the state and the center are concerned, because the central scheme benefiting mostly the people who are going to vote in the state and vice versa. Let me give you just three examples. So in the last 10 years, the center, Modi, let's put it that way, has built 120 million toilets. It's distributed 280 million Ayushman cards, and it has given 100 million gas connections. As many as a quarter amongst all these welfare schemes, a quarter, 25% have gone to UP. So UP has right now 30 million toilets, UP has 75 million Ayushman cards, and UP has about 25 odd million gas connections. What it does over and above the fact that in the last 5 years, the GDP per capita of UP has shot up from 45,000 to 60,000. I'm just giving the figures. And the 10% increase in the women school girls going to school, and 10-point reduction in the infant mortality rate. So you look at the central schemes, Rahul, you look at health, wealth and education. In all these parameters, there is a reason why people are voting for BJP in the state as well as the center. Had the distribution of the welfare schemes of the center not impacted UP that much, I dare say what your analysis that is stopping the vote cutting by SP and Congress coming together would have had a difference. But in this case, you can stop the vote cutting. People are still going to vote for BJP because the schemes have benefited the UP people most.
Okay, let me bring in Sanjay Jha on this point. Sanjay Jha, look, I'm just looking at the numbers. These are numbers that have been put out by CSDS Lok Niti. And since data matters, let's talk datas and numbers. Okay, Sanjay Jha, post 2019 elections, it transpired that the non-Yadav castes polled between 80% and 72% in the favor of the BJP. Now, these are some of the most backward castes, as you know, most so-called oppressed castes. The Jatavs also, who voted overwhelmingly for the Gathbandhan because of the BSP, stuck to what they know, but the other Jatavs, engine in their state of Uttar Pradesh, neighboring Bihar, on the back of a so-called record unemployment. If you remember, much was made of the data before 2019 CMIE data that was out, saying that once in 40 year bump up in unemployment, and also on what Rahul Gandhi called the Gabbar Singh tax, GST. Then you had in 2022 the assembly polls. Here in Uttar Pradesh, after COVID and the so-called COVID-induced destitution, you had an overwhelming mandate. 43% of the vote goes to the BJP, despite the Samajwadi Party coming together with a large number of other parties representing the interests of some of these extremely backward castes. This shows that obviously the Gathbandhans, whenever they have come up against Mr. Modi, they have lacked credibility in their message. People don't believe them, they don't trust them.
Okay, Rahul, I think this has been a good debate. You have not interrupted anybody, and I think it's only fair that you don't interrupt me when I try and respond to some of the statements made by the BJP spokesperson and the author, Dr. Ranganathan. I'll be very succinct. Somebody mentioned the importance of perception. Let's address that, and I'll give you some data on Uttar Pradesh that will tell you why the BJP ought to be nervous. If they are not, actually, I'll be more than happy. I love an arrogant, overconfident opponent. Here are my quick points. Look at perception. You think India has not watched what's happened in the Chandigarh election of fraud being done by the BJP in open? The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court calling it a mockery of democracy. You think India has not seen the electoral bond scheme, a mockery of democracy done by the BJP, which basically makes every election since 2018 technically illegal because it has been funded by corrupted and tainted money. Point number 3, as my friend Ghansham correctly pointed out, over 700 farmers dead during the last protest, a young 21-year-old killed today. The farmers' protest is not a political movement. It is a fight for justice, social and economic. Point number 4, people have seen how a serving Indian police service officer is called a Khalistani, which I think you were playing up in your program earlier, by the BJP. People are also seeing how the Indian National Congress is being threatened by blocking their account, because I think if the BJP is going to win, why are they so paranoid? Now, let me tell you here the Uttar Pradesh numbers. I agree. I talk to a lot of people in Uttar Pradesh and they tell me that the BJP's plank will be law and order, blah, blah, blah. But look at the hard reality of Uttar Pradesh. I know people in Uttar Pradesh as well, Rahul. Let me tell you what the truth is. And these are numbers again. Do you know that 2 out of 5 people in Uttar Pradesh are multi-dimensionally poor? In the last 5 years of this current government, manufacturing is down by 1.3%, is negative. Is negative. Somebody rattled off some numbers, but let me tell you, if they were true, manufacturing is negative by 1.3%. Industry in the last 5 years has grown by 0.6%. Negligible. None of the big friends of Mr. Modi are investing in Uttar Pradesh, and ask yourself why. If the law and order has been so good, why not? Point number 3, construction, only 3%. Point number 4, services, only 4%. What does it tell you? A young state, and you know, I know people of Uttar Pradesh, even in Mumbai where I live, Rahul. Okay. And I have people who come and tell me here, we have to leave Uttar Pradesh to do any job because there's no hope. The young's dreams are dead. And my last point, Narendra Modi and the BJP in the last 10 years have been the most polarizing political party in history. Their only legacy is hate, divisiveness, and fear. And I can tell you that is Modi's guarantee that the people of India will reject. I think this election is up in the air. We'll wait and see what happens. This is India Shining Part 2, Rahul. You're going to see a deja vu play out in the next couple of months.
Okay, India Shining Part 2. Very quickly, yes. May
I please?
Okay, 1 second. What is the...
Rahul, I need to respond.
I'm bringing you in. Yes.
Because he's made direct allegations.
So,
at
BJP spokesperson comes in on 3 points. The perception, the performance, and of course the false promises. That's what Sanjay Jha has put this all under.
You know, Sanjay Jha is the classic, version of lying 1,000 times in classic Goebbelsian style, but that's not going to work. And I'll tell you why. I did not heckle you. I did not heckle you. Now,
okay. Let her make her point. See, we haven't interrupted anybody. Please.
Yes, I did not heckle you, Mr. Jha.
Yeah.
Now stop getting rattled and sunne ki bari hai. Abhi bolna band kariye. Thank you. Now let me first address this stuff about, unemployment. I have put out a video and I have written on this umpteen number of times for First Post and News 18. In the last 10 years, We've added 21.42 crore jobs in terms of net subscribers. If you go by EPF and ESIC data, point number one. Point number two, Congress keeps quoting Niti Aayog when it conveniently suits them. 10 years from 2004 to 2014, headline inflation under incompetent Sonia Gandhi's kitchen cabinet was 8.6%, despite two black swan events, the Russia-Ukraine conflict and COVID pandemic. In the last 10 years, the average headline retail inflation under the Modi government is 5%, well below the RBI's upper band of 6%. Point number three, CMI is actually a private body owned by Mahesh Vyas, an acolyte of P. Chidambaram. You should look at the PLSS survey put out by the NSSO, and it says that unemployment has fallen from 6.1% in FY18 to 3.2% in FY23, the lowest in post-independent India's history. And now when Sanjay Jha talks about manufacturing growth, I have the latest numbers. Between April and December 2024, financial year 2024, April to December 2023, which is financial year 2023-24, the average manufacturing growth is 7.8%. The average growth in capital goods, which is a very big barometer of whether new investment is being added to the economy, is 10.2%. Last but not the least, please. He spoke about perception. I will take 20 seconds. I say, without being hypocritical, you want to discuss Bilkis Bano, fine, but discuss Shah Bano. You want to discuss Manipur, fine, but also discuss Shah Jahan Sheikh and Sandesh Khali. You want to discuss about, the fate of female wrestlers under Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, fine, but then you should also discuss about P.P. Madhavan, the ex-secretary of Sonia Gandhi, rather personal secretary of Sonia Gandhi, accused of raping a poor Dalit widow. And last but not the least, Sanjay Jha. When you talk of perception, do not forget Priyanka Vadra's clarion call was Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu, and the poster girl of Ladki Hu Lad Sakti Hu, Archana Gautam, was thrashed by Congress workers outside the Congress office. So please just zip it.
Okay. Now, viewers, just a second. I just want to quickly, yes, Dr. Ranganathan, you've been holding up something very quickly. Coming to, I have to move out of this debate. Yes.
No, I just wanted to say on a lighter note, my good friend Dr. Sanjay Jha should be unsuspended, and the data that he procures from that should be suspended. When he talks about investment, I live checked him. I checked him live on television. That now, please, now Sanjay, I didn't interrupt you. No, that lakhs of crores, Rahul, you saw the headlines, lakhs of crores of investment are pouring into UP by the industrialists. Gujarat and UP are ranked the topmost states as far as attracting investments are concerned. That's just two of the lies that I have busted. There are so many that go around. So,
look, the matter now is, viewers, very firmly in the court of the voters. Remember, we have been here before. These alliances, these same people have come together earlier. It now lies upon them, viewers, to convince those voters who rejected them the last time why they should vote them this time. That's the fundamental bottom line here, viewers, at the end of the day. This is not something...
Rahul.
Yeah.
Just we completely missed the point, the influence of the Ram Mandir.
Ram Mandir, all of that. Okay, 1 second. I'm just moving out of this. He's talking about the Ram Mandir.
Hijack the program.
No one is hijacking. He just made a quip. He just made a quip. I'm just moving out, viewers. Look, as I said, the bottom line is that the very same actors who came together and failed against also the same side, which is Mr. Modi and the BJP, need to convince you, the voter, why their message this time is ringing true. I want to move on, because when we talk about messages, there have been some fairly disturbing ones that have come out very recently, viewers. A series of remarks made by Rahul Gandhi have gone viral. In one video, the Congress scion is seen to be shaming a journalist by demanding he reveal the caste of his employers. The idea was to prove that they were all upper caste and therefore could not be bothered to cover the issues that mattered to this segment of the population or even provide employment to backward caste candidates. Rahul's hectoring was so extreme, so, as some people have said, insightful, that the journalist was almost lynched on the spot. Rahul had to intervene. Rahul perhaps overlooked the irony of it all. Not only was the journalist from a backward caste himself, but Rahul Gandhi, who is the lead poll mascot of the Congress, has rather proudly flaunted his Brahmin roots by proclaiming he's a Janyudhari. You must remember all of that, viewers. He came out and he said, I'm a Janyudhari. In any case, shaming people on the back of their identity can set off a chain of retributive behavior that can break down social harmony. Viewers, that was not all. In a fit of rage unbecoming of a leader aspiring perhaps to be the Prime Minister, Rahul raged at the so-called drunk, his words not mine, and quote, mobile, obsessed, unquote, youth of Kashi, of Varanasi, that he apparently encountered there. Rahul's attack reveals a profound lack of humility. Shaming voters that have not supported the Congress betrays a contempt for their right to choose, a right guaranteed by the Constitution. But even at a purely human level, Rahul's diatribe against the so-called, quote, drunks, unquote, exposes a lack of empathy. Addiction is not a crime. It is a symptom that springs most often from a loss of self-esteem. Substance abusers need to be treated, viewers, with empathy. Rahul is supposedly on a mission to win hearts with love, but his cruel words make us doubt his intent. Look, viewers, I could have sat on the fence and let you interpret, but sometimes it is important to step in. Imagine have Modi made these remarks, what would have happened to him? Nonetheless, the third video, where Rahul describes celebrated actress Aishwarya Rai, is simply, viewers, not on. It's not on because it completely undermines the agency of 50% of India. I won't labor on, viewers. I won't stand in between you and Rahul Gandhi's words, his assertions. Here's Rahul Gandhi in his own voice, in his own words. Listen.
आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? क्या नाम है? नाम बताओ, नाम बताओ। ओए मारो मत यार, मारो मत उसको, मारना नहीं है, मारना नहीं है। नाम बताओ उसका। वो ओबीसी है? नहीं। वो दलित है? नहीं। वो आदिवासी है? नहीं। अरबपति है वो। आपने राम मंदिर का फंक्शन देखा? देखा? उसमें आपने एक ओबीसी चेहरा देखा, एक दलित चेहरा देखा, एक आदिवासी चेहरा देखा? नहीं, उसमें एक नहीं था। उसमें अमिताभ बच्चन थे, ऐश्वर्या राय थी, नरेंद्र मोदी थे। 73% का एक व्यक्ति नहीं था उसमें। कभी कहेंगे उधर देखो भैया अमिताभ बच्चन नाच रहा है, वो देखो भैया उसके साथ ऐश्वर्या राय नाच रही है। आप लोग इधर उधर देखोगे, मजदूरों की बात नहीं होगी, किसानों की बात नहीं होगी। वाराणसी में देखा मैंने, रात को बाजा बज रहा है, ठहर जा, बाजा बज रहा है, वहां पे शराब पिए सड़क पे लेटते हुए बाजा बज रहा है। यूपी का भविष्य रात को शराब पिए नाच रहा है, डांस कर रहा है नशे में।
Baja baj raha hai. A lot of people, viewers, have said that voters baja baja denge. That is what the reactions have been to some of this commentary on Twitter, viewers. I don't know where to begin, but Dr. Ranganathan, since you are not alloyed politically to anyone, you might have your sympathies, you might have your views, and that's not a crime in this country. Well, it is actually. It is now. It is a crime. It is a crime to espouse a certain point of view. You can be a progressive conservative, but boy, oh boy, if you confess to it, you could end up like me. Anyhow, but Dr. Ranganathan, you know, I don't know what to make of this. Sum it up. Sum it up for us.
Well, you know, at the risk of repeating myself, I've said this before, let me repeat that. Making sense of Rahul Gandhi is as easy as consuming rasam with chopsticks. But, you know, that was on a lighter note, but I think he's just, I'm sorry to say this. The only thing, Sanju, please stop laughing. Thank you. You know, the only thing lower than Rahul Gandhi's credibility is his intelligence. But he's gone beyond that. And this is not funny anymore. This is scary and this is dangerous. You know, Rahul, Jinnah had said, I will either have a divided India or a destroyed India. He managed the former. I'm sorry to say, but Congress and Rahul Gandhi are intent upon managing the latter. Did you just hear what he said? You know, almost the poor journalist almost got lynched. And this coming from a guy who proudly says that he's a Janeudhari Brahmin, upper caste. He's castigating the other upper caste, believing that they are going to commit atrocities on that journalist. Well, other people will ask, why not you? And as far as the promises that he's made, you very well remember that Congress, Tom, the promise that 33% women reservation and all. In Telangana, I want to ask, and Sanjay is a Congress sympathizer, do you know only 10 women candidates were selected by the Congress out of a total strength of 120 seats? Only 10. BJP had more than Congress. So much for going, you know, on his, keeping his promises. So this is just, I think it's just disaster. But I don't care about the disaster. There are many MLAs, MPs who win and who lose and he say all sorts of things. Rahul, I'm sorry to say, this is downright dangerous. Dangerous.
Well, Sanjay Jha, I mean, you pick on a particular, now, you know, we can resort to whataboutery, etc., but you pick on a journalist in a crowd, you shame him for being a member of a particular, working for a particular employer who might be a member of a particular caste. If that is how you are sort of displaced or disposed towards rich industrialists, why do business with them at all then? Why do you invite some of the biggest businesses and businessmen who are Arabpatis, as Rahul Gandhi says, and of upper caste to various states that are run by the Congress to invest? What would have happened had that young man been lynched there? Do you think this is, I'm just asking you, you're a sensible person, you've written a great book after book recently also. I just want to ask you, I mean, how does an intellectual like you square this sort of extremely run-of-the-mill sort of, you know, argument? I can't hear you. You lost your voice. I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can, sir.
Yeah, I'll try and be very quick. Number one, I think when I heard Rahul Gandhi's statement on, you know, people being drunk in Uttar Pradesh, I think let's try and contextualize both his statements. And actually, let me try and explain that to you. I'm not getting into the, you know, actual semantics and the syntax because I agree all politicians can do better. I'm not going to argue on that point. Here is my two cents of wisdom. Number one, Uttar Pradesh, a state which is one of the lowest in per capita income in the country, is spending 115 crore a day with people spending that on liquor. Can you believe that? 115 crore a day spending on liquor. It is a challenge. And it happens when you have social evil and you have problems when the young are actually not getting jobs. And that is a consequence of that kind of behavior. Don't forget, in IIT-BHU,
Sanjay Jha, I'm sorry, but people consume liquor in Western countries. In Western countries with, no, hang on, where the GDP per capita is much higher. Come on. I mean, you know, let's not try to contextualize. You yourself have said. Let's not contextualize all of this.
Rahul, can I finish my sentence, please? Yeah, number two.
Are we going to moralize now on liquor? Something that you yourself have opposed. You have talked about how, you know, I've been on shows with you.
Yeah, let me finish. An IIT-BHU girl was gang raped Did anybody talk about that? That's the worry that Rahul Gandhi has.
Oh, really? And how does that link in? How does that link in by pillorying a reporter and asking him to name his Malik and his Malik's caste? And I mean, make a point with some logic.
Coming to that.
Rahul,
If you did not,
Are you going to defend this?
If you did not interrupt, you had an answer.
I don't get this.
No, I'm asking him questions.
No, you're mollycoddling him.
Neutral.
I'm not here to listen to the gibberish of Sanjay Jha.
Ma'am, आप तो मत कहिए कि मैं now you will say that I'm in Sanjay Jha's Godi. I get enough of this Godi business.
No, I'm not talking about Godi or lap or anything else. I'm just saying you're mollycoddling him for reasons best known to you. I need to respond.
No, I'll bring you in
I
1
haven't
second.
finished
Just
yet.
give me 30 seconds. Yes.
I haven't finished yet.
Yeah, make your point. Justify
My
the pillorying
point is
and the almost
Rahul Gandhi
lynching
was
of a
making
journalist.
The bigger point. Rahul Gandhi was making the bigger point, which, by the way, Rahul, I don't know whether you know it. The world is talking about how India's big media has ended up being a cheerleader for Narendra Modi.
Right.
That's the point he's making.
Okay.
And calling Ranganathan...
Viewers, let me tell you, had Modi made the same comments, all the YouTubers... No, 1 second, let me just very, very clearly tell you this. All the YouTubers from here to Timbuktu, 1 second, from Tucson to Timbuktu to Tokyo would have been standing and gibbering at the same time, saying, look, the country is going to hell in a handbasket under a casteist, misogynist, and quite frankly, cruel leader. The words have been used, viewers. The great capacious Godi of the ecosystem. All these other YouTubers today are lost in them, viewers. Lost, capacious, including Sanjay Jha. Can't bring himself to come out and say beyond that, I don't want to get into the semantics and the syntax. We should be getting into semantics and syntax tonight, viewers, let me tell you. Yes.
Thank you.
BJP spokesperson coming in.
Thank you. Rahul, I never play the victim. And I will never accuse you of being a part of Godi media or PD media. I have never done that. I've been on a zillion debates with you in your earlier avatar and now as well. But yes, I just said on a lighter note that you were mollycoddling Sanjay Jha because I feel offended. You said, Sanjay Jha is an intellectual. Rahul Shiv Shankar thinks Sanjay Jha is an intellectual. By that logic, Sanju Verma is Taylor Swift. Fine. Now let's get to the more serious part. So neither is Sanjay Jha an intellectual nor is Sanju Verma Taylor Swift. Okay, now let me make my important point. Please keep quiet. Rahul, can you moderate the debate?
Yeah, he's not, I can't hear him. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you remember that while Rahul Gandhi's criminal conviction has been stayed by the Supreme Court, where he called all Modi as thieves, सारे मोदी, नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, ये सारे के सारे मोदी चोर क्यों होते हैं? What did the Supreme Court say while staying his conviction? It said that Rahul Gandhi is a public figure and he should measure and choose his words carefully because otherwise this sets a dangerous precedent. This is the Supreme Court which has castigated Rahul Gandhi for calling once all Modi are thieves. A few years back he said all Gujus are cheats, and basically today he's implying the entire young population of Uttar Pradesh are drunkards. I will tell you, I've listened to the videos. What were his exact words? मैं गया था वाराणसी, वहाँ रात को म्यूजिक बज रहा था और मैंने देखा कि लोग शराब पीकर, पूरी तरह से शराब पीकर सड़कों पर लेट गए हैं। आपने देखा है राम मंदिर में कौन जाता है? आपको वहां मोदी दिखेगा, आपको वहां अडानी दिखेगा, आपको वहां अंबानी दिखेगा और अमिताभ बच्चन वहां पर डांस मारता है। These were his words. अमिताभ बच्चन डांस मारता है, ऐश्वर्या राय नाचती है। A man at the age of 53 or 54 does not have the basic etiquette to address people who are, far higher in terms of their political standing, their social standing. Forget their age factor. I think Rahul Gandhi is unfit to be in politics.
Well, let me, viewers,
Rahul Gandhi is unfit to be in public life.
Okay, let me bring in. Okay, very quickly, Dr. Ranganathan, yes, you are making a point. Yeah.
I think an apology is due from my side to Rahul Gandhi when I said that making sense of Rahul Gandhi is as easy as consuming rasam with chopstick. I'm sorry, Rahul Gandhi. That epithet is for Sanjay Jha. What is he even saying? Does he even know that 50% of the liquor that is consumed in India is done by 5 southern states, out of which 2 are now Congress ruled and the other are Congress allies?
You hate
I mean, ये कहाँ से आता है ये? How
How
did he even become चौथी फेल? He is तीसरी फेल. I don't know. There must be some reason why Rahul Gandhi is not unsuspending him. 5 साल से
Okay, now again,
Shame on you.
now again Sanjay Jha is shooting himself in the foot. Now one second. Now again Sanjay Jha is shooting himself in the foot. You see, if I were to go, 1 minute, if I were to go, go by Mahatma Gandhi, we would even have a problem serving any form of meat in this country, viewers. Yes. I mean, he would have completely shut down even all, meat shops. We would have had that kind of regimented sort of life. Now that's okay. Some people, they find it great. They don't want to eat beef. They don't want to eat meat, etc. That's their call. But then the Congress should not stand and say that there is a monomaniacal kind of imposition here in this country where people's right to choose is being set aside. Would you not agree, Dr. Ranganathan? Thank you for those statistics about the alcohol consumption.
No, absolutely, and I am not for prohibition. I've written extensively on this, and I'm not for any sort of meat ban. But the kind of hypocrisy and the logic, saying that people are drunk in UP and youngsters, and your states are consuming maximum alcohol. By that logic, your people from your states should be loitering around and falling like deadpan on the streets. What kind of logic is this?
Well,
we can do better.
I think, when someone asks you, viewers, remember this, when someone asks you, tumhara malik kaun hai? Turn around and tell them it's the constitution of this country. That is my malik. And remember, viewers, the constitution of this country was not made by an Arabpati. It was made by a crusader for Dalit rights. And of course, viewers, the extremely, look, I mean, allow me my trespasses. Allow me my trespasses. Okay, I'll leave it at this. Viewers, this is a very serious debate actually. It's descended a little bit into a bit of frivolity, but that was not the intent, viewers. This is a very serious issue. It's a very serious issue. I'm taking a very short break.
was put in by Congress Party or Samajwadi Party over their announcement of the Varanasi candidate. It has in fact been told to Samajwadi Party that they need to take back this particular candidate because Ajay Rai, who has always been contesting from that particular seat, will be willing to continue in that contesting from that particular seat. So we, of course, all these have in fact been conveyed by the Congress Party, and it seems a consensus has reached, but a final picture as to what all has been agreed by the both sides will be clear at 5 p.m. when a final list in all likelihood will be released.
Right, we'll come back to you then when those details come out. For the moment though, Sharon, thank you so much for getting us the latest. After days of speculation, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav confirmed that the alliance with the Congress, there's all is well ahead of the 2024 elections. There's absolutely no issues. Ant bhala to sab bhala is what Akhilesh Yadav came out and said today. The party convener said that Congress's alliance with the Congress, there is absolutely no problem. Seat sharing talks are going on. Remember, there were questions that were raised over the alliance after Jayant Chaudhary left the I.N.D.I.A Bloc, joined the NDA, following which Akhilesh Yadav didn't join Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra. We also saw that Akhilesh Yadav's party announced at least 3 lists of candidates ahead of the 2024 elections, even as the Congress kept claiming that negotiations are still on. Sources are now telling us that Samajwadi Party is yet to take back its candidate from Varanasi, and Uttar Pradesh Congress President Ajay Rai is going to be contesting from that seat instead. On the other hand, SP says that they shall be given Hathras in exchange.
आने वाले समय में उत्तर प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सफाया होगा। अंत भला तो सब भला।
क्या समझे? तो क्या माना जाए?
आप समझदार हो?
गठबंधन होगा?
सीट शेयरिंग को लेकर
होगा।
विवाद छिड़ा हुआ है।
कोई विवाद नहीं है, आपके सामने सब चीजें साफ हो जाएंगी बहुत जल्दी।
देखिए, वो बन जाए और चाहे ना बने, उससे भाजपा की सेहत पे कोई असर नहीं पड़ता है। लेकिन यह जो मेरे समझ में आ रहा है कि कांग्रेस के सरदार श्री राहुल गांधी जी चाहते हैं सपा समाप्तवादी पार्टी बने, और अगर सपा वालों को ये पता है कि उनकी पार्टी समाप्त हो रही है तो अखिलेश यादव जी भी ये चाहते हैं कि कांग्रेस मुक्त भी बने यूपी। तो दोनों एक दूसरे की मदद करने की सामर्थ्य नहीं रखते। दोनों दलों को मालूम है कि उनके प्रत्याशियों को इस बार जमानत बचाना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। फिर भी अगर वो गठबंधन करके लड़ते हैं, तो अलग अलग लड़ते हैं, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी उनको धूल चटाएगी, कमल का फूल खिलाएगी और 80 के 80 सीटें जीत करके हम माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को फिर एक बार देश के प्रधानमंत्री के पद की शपथ लेते हुए देखेंगे।
Sharon, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Sharon, what's the latest that you've gathered from your sources within the Congress party? Because there was a lot of back and forth as far as how many seats they want, how many seats the Samajwadi Party is willing to offer. We're given to understand anywhere between 16 to 18 is what the final decision is going to be on?
Well, that is right, Poonam. 16 to 18 is something that has in fact been decided by the Samajwadi Party and Congress. And Samajwadi Party is willing to give around 17 seats. Is what the sources have been suggesting. Now, the latest that we are getting to know is that 5 p.m. today, in all likelihood, the final list will be released by the Samajwadi Party and Congress. There's a press conference that has been called by the Congress and Samajwadi Party, a joint press conference, where the final list of will in fact be released, is what the sources saying. But you're right that there were in fact a lot of back and forth when it comes to a number of seats. Especially when it comes to Varanasi, there was a candidate that was already announced by the Samajwadi Party. Now the sources, Congress sources have been suggesting is that that particular candidate will be taken back by the Samajwadi Party, and I.N.D.I.A, the Congress Uttar Pradesh president, will in fact be fielded from there. He has always contested from that particular seat. On the other side, Hathras is something that will be given back to Samajwadi Party. Last time Congress contested from here in exchange of Sitapur. So this time Congress in all likelihood will be contesting from Sitapur. Apart from that, Samajwadi Party in Bulandshahr or Mathura, it will be Samajwadi Party that will be contesting. So what really Congress Party has conveyed to the Samajwadi Party is that the seat sharing should be on the basis of caste equation on ground and previous vote share of both the parties. Accordingly, the winnability quotient should be the priority, and accordingly, that is how the seat sharing should be done. So, like Akhilesh Yadav said, Ant Bhala to Sab Bhala, it looks like at 5 p.m. Final list will be released by Samajwadi Party and Congress.
What happens to the seat of Varanasi then, Sharon? Because that's where the conflict is as well. The UP Congress chief wants it for himself. The Samajwadi Party has already declared it. Will they backtrack on that?
Well, that is what the sources have been saying, that there was in fact pressure that was put in by Congress Party on Samajwadi Party over their announcement of the Varanasi candidate. It has in fact been told to Samajwadi Party that they need to take back this particular candidate, because I.N.D.I.A, who has always been contesting from that particular seat, will be willing to continue in that contesting from that particular seat. So we, of course, all these have in fact been conveyed by the Congress Party, and it seems a consensus has reached, but a final picture as to what all has been agreed by the both sides will be clear at 5 p.m. when a final list in all likelihood will be released.
We'll come back to you then when those details come out. For the moment though, Sharon, thank you so much for getting us the latest. After days of speculation, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav confirmed that the alliance with the Congress, there's all is well ahead of the 2024 elections. There's absolutely no issues. Ant bhala to sab bhala is what Akhilesh Yadav came out and said today. The party convener said that Congress's alliance with the Congress, there is absolutely no problem. Seat sharing talks are going on. Remember, there were questions that were raised over the alliance after Jayant Chaudhary left the I.N.D.I.A Bloc, joined the N.D.I.A, following which Akhilesh Yadav didn't join Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra. We also saw that Akhilesh Yadav's party announced at least 3 lists of candidates ahead of the 2024 elections, even as the Congress kept claiming that negotiations are still on. Sources are now telling us that Samajwadi Party is yet to take back its candidate from Varanasi, and Uttar Pradesh Congress President Ajay Rai is going to be contesting from that seat instead. On the other hand, SP says that they shall be given Hathras.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. My name is Anand Narsimhan and I'm coming to you live from Kovai, the Kongunadu belt, Tamil Nadu, ladies and gentlemen, famous for the Kongunadu cuisine, also the hotbed for automobiles industry, the textile manufacturing equipment, and a host of others. From the time hydroelectricity came to this city in the 1930s, it also became the hotbed of cotton, and not far from Coimbatore is Tirupur, the hub for all textile manufacturing. But this also is the home of the Gounders, who form the backward caste